This is the translation for the word for Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada. Thank you. Thank you, Maji.
The lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari are my treasure, my devotional service, and my object of worship. They give my life meaning. They are the life of my life. They are the perfection of rasa, and they are the perfection worthy of attainment. They are the very law of the Vedic scriptures to me. They are the meaning of all my fasts and penances and my silent uttering of my mantras. They are the basis of religion and activities. By the purifying process of favorable devotional service, one will attain perfection and with these two eyes be able to see. His transcendental form is shining like moonlight in my heart, and my heart therefore shines and reciprocates. In other words, the ordinary moon lights up the night, and its shine illuminates other objects. But the moon of the effulgence of the form of Sri Rupa Manjari shines into the heart and makes the heart also shine back to the spiritual sky. This moon shines not only in the night time, but day and night. Your absence from my vision is like a dose of strong poison, and I will suffer till the end of my life. Narottam Das Thakur says, please give me your mercy and the shade of your lotus feet.
Wow. It's a deep talking, huh?
Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Se Mora Bhajana Pujana Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana Sei Mora Pranadhana Sei Mora Bharana Sei Mora Pranadhana Sei Mora Bharana Sei Mora Jivera Jivana Sei Mora Jivera Jivana Sei Mora Rasa Nidhi Sei Mora Vancha Siddhi Sei Mora Rasa Nidhi Sei Mora Vancha Siddhi Sei Mora Vidita Dharama Sei Mora Vidira Dharama Sei Brata Sei Tapa Sei Mora Mantra Japa Sei Brata Sei Tapa Sei Mora Mantra Japa Sei Mora Dharama Karama Sei Mora Dharama Karama Anukula Habe Vidhi Sei Pade Hoibe Siddhi Anukula Habe Vidhi Se Pade Hoibe Siddhi Nirakhi Bol Duinayane Nirakhi Bol Duinayane Shri Rupa Madhuri Rasi Prana Kuvalaya Shashi Shri Rupa Madhuri Rashi Prana Kumalaya Shashi Prabhulita Habeni Shirine Prabhulita Habeni Shirine Tua Darshana Hi Garale Jaralo Dehi Tua Darshana Hi Garale Jaralo Dehi Chirodina Tapita Jivana Chirodina Tapita Jivana Ha Rupa Karo Doya Deho More Pada Chaya Ha Rupa Karo Doya Deho More Pada Chaya Naruttama Loilo Sharana Naruttama Loilo Sharana Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Shri Mora Sampada Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Shri Mora Sampada Shri Mora Bhajana Pujana Shri Mora Bhajana Pujana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Jai Gaur Pramandi Hari Hari Bol Shri Narottama Das Thakur ki Jai Shri Rupa Manjari ki Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki Jai
Karuna Bandar ki Jai. You sang that so beautifully. Very, very good. So, thank you very much, Mataji. I never thought
Thank you Prabhu.
we'd ever sing a bhajan like this.
I missed some lines I'm sure.
No, I think it was good. Mind you, you don't want to take my opinion. But yes, that was good. That was good. Thank you very much for that. So,
Thank you Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, just continuing with our previous topic of the Manjaris, Manjari Bhav. This is a wonderful picture of Radha Madhav, yeah, and Asta Sakhis are there. Does anybody remember the names of these Asta Sakhis? Let's just do a quick revision. How about unmuting yourselves? Who are these Asta Sakhis on the on Krishna's side? Anybody remember the names?
Lalita Devi.
Yeah. Who's this? or this one? This
Chitra.
one. Yes, Chitra's there. Who's that?
Induleka.
She's on the other
Now,
side.
if you remember the TCC, you remember TCC?
Champak.
Tungavidya.
Yes.
Champakkalata.
Yes. Champaklata is next to Lalita. And then we have Chitra and Tungavidya. So TCC and then of L. The L is easy because Lalita.
Yep.
And so on the other side, who do we have?
Vishakha.
Yep. And remember the Icarion. It's IRS.
Put my voice on.
Induleka.
R. It's a little hard to remember this one.
Ranga?
Ranga Devi, yes. And then S.
Sudevi.
Very good.
Sudevi.
Well done. Well done. So we will be doing this test regularly. No. It's good to remember. This is how we build a relationship, by remembering the names. It's a good start. It's really odd, isn't it? When you meet somebody and you've met them many times and they still don't know your name, you feel this connection isn't quite there. But there's many people you meet and immediately they know your name and you think, wow, how come I don't know your name? So it's good to know the names of the personalities who we're worshipping. And then here at the bottom, because this is the first time I've seen a picture like this, is we have the Manjaris, who are the assistants to the gopis. And you can see the Manjaris, they are just looking at and massaging, touching the lotus feet of the Lord. This is their position. Yeah, one's with a garland.
Chuck.
Many different things. Very beautiful. So, Rupa Manjari. In the north of Lalita Dada Kunj is the Kunj named Rupa Lasa, where the very beautiful Sri Rupa Manjari always resides. She is the chief of the Priya Narma Sakhis or Manjaris. Kinkari is the other name for them as well. She's very beautiful. Her bodily luster resembles Gorochan pigment. That's a deep yellow color. Her dress is decorated with peacock feathers. She's eternally 13 years and 6 months of age. So it's little younger than Radha and the Gopis, the Asasakis. She's one day younger than Lavanga Manjari. And does anybody remember who Lavanga Manjari is? This is a tough question because we went through it very briefly, I think yesterday. That's actually Sanatan Goswami, who came with Rupa Goswami to the sisters here and brothers there. Her father is named Ratnabhanu, her mother is Yamuna, her husband is Durmeda, and her mother-in-law is Jatila. This is quite interesting. So Jatila must have at least 2 sons. Right? One is married to Radha,
Sister-in-law.
and the other is married to Rupa Manjari. His name is Durmeda. Very interesting. She is dedicated to devotional service of massaging the feet. But of course, we have been reading her position as Manjari is very prominent. She's the head of the Manjaris, and they generally report to Ananga Manjari, who's the younger sister of Radharani, who's actually also incarnation of Balaram. And through Ananga Manjari, they do a lot of service for Radha and Krishna. And upon her recommendation, Rupa Manjari's recommendation, the new Manjaris would get the service, loving service of Radha and Krishna. So she's a very important Manjari. And we are blessed because Rupa Manjari came as Rupa Goswami and served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's the leader of the 6 Goswamis. And this movement is based around the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the 6 Goswamis. And they are all Manjaris. So that is quite a powerful parampara that we have, which is so closely associated with the divine couple, Radha and Krishna. Even more closely associated than the Astasakis, because they get to do service, they get to witness services of the divine couple, which nobody else can, nobody else does. And when, especially Srimati Radharani is feeling great separation from Krishna, they relieve her from that separation by recalling wonderful pastimes between the divine couple. And they can do that because they have witnessed those pastimes and they've took those pastimes to heart, relished them. And because they love Radha more than Krishna, their loyalty is completely based around Radharani. And hence they are able to witness all the intimate pastimes. And there she is. This is Rupa Manjari decorating the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And Radharani is so pleased with the Manjaris because they're so close. They're almost like one body. They think like to each other. Radharani simply has to give a small hint with her eyes, maybe a little wave of the hand, and the Manjaris immediately know what needs to be done in order to enhance the enjoyment of Radha and Krishna. And this is why there's a lot of training that goes into the new Manjaris who come in. And Rupa Goswami is in charge of that training of the new Manjaris. Because if something goes a little bit wayward, then they all become heartbroken because their interest is only the service of Radha and Krishna. They know, they love Radha more than Krishna, but they know Radha loves Krishna more than anything. And therefore, they are very much interested in making sure that everything is perfect for the enjoyment of Radha and Krishna. So it's very interesting how the dynamics work. Although we don't really have a clue, but this is a little idea. She, in the age of Kali, she has descended in the Gaura Leela as Sri Rupa Goswami. So somehow or other, through our spiritual practice, our sadhana, we don't do anything different from what we're doing now, chanting the holy names. No, actually, no, we do it very differently. We do it with a great deal more focus, chanting the 16 rounds of the holy names, Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Knowing that there is a spiritual world out there which is way beyond our possible imagination, but we have a little clue about the realm of the divine couple. And our mood is that we want to engage in their service, engage in the service of the Manjaris. Das nu das nu das nu das. Service, servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. And we want to beg and cry for them to give us access to that service. Very, very important. Different people will have different bhav, different moods of worship. Some may want to worship the Lord in the mood of servant, or friendship, or parenthood, or lover. So all these moods are perfectly fine. The highest, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, is the Manjari Bhav, and hence why that is the focus of the parampara, of this parampara. So we have access to that if we get it right. How do we get it right? Follow the instructions of the spiritual master, read Srila Prabhupada's books, chant the holy names, preach, share this Krishna consciousness with as many people as we possibly can. While we're here, we work really hard as possible. We do the grafting now, work now, samadhi later. So, but at the same time, not forgetting that there is this world out there and we can be part of it. And it includes Rupa Manjari, it includes the Asasakis serving Radha and Krishna. So it's, I feel very fortunate that been able to study a little bit and try to understand. Of course, to put it into practice and to live it is a different matter, but at least we have a bit of a theoretical idea, so that at least in our life, once we have tried to understand this incredible spiritual realm that we have access to. So this is Rupa Manjari. We can talk through. Oh no, let's. Madhusan Babu, would you like to share any experiences?
Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Hare Krishna. Sorry, Nabi. Last few days I have been attending and listening, and yesterday I had to sort my car. Well, nothing is safe these days, as you know. So
Yeah.
Somebody had gone underneath Kamakshi's car and taken out the catalytic converter, you know. So,
Really? My goodness.
so the car was a bit non-functional, you know, and it still is. So I've got to sort it out now. But what can you do, you know? These days, nothing is safe.
Obviously, that's very sacred piece of equipment under Kamakshi's car, eh?
I mean, it is, isn't it? You know, so
Yeah.
you know, and these sort of things are quite common, you know. So
Right.
got to deal with it, you know, being material life. But anyway, coming back to sort of talking in the last few days, we've been expanding on this, our understanding of the Sakhis and the Manjaris, and not that I have any particular realizations, but just that to understand the bhav is that, you know, we all start in the spiritual life with, you know, there is this obviously Santya Ras, and then there is Dasya. Then, well, when any relationship you start with, you know, it's first of all getting to know the person, getting to know the name. It's a neutral kind of relationship. Then you become try to develop the relationship you want to serve, or and just like Hanuman is in a very dasya kind of bhav, and that's his bhav. That's, you know, that's, and as you go higher in these bhavs, like of, you know, Santya Ras to Dasya Ras to Sakhya Ras to, you know, Vatsalya Ras, Madhurya Ras, but the one above does have the one below as well.
Yeah.
So Dasya Ras will have the Santya Ras as well, but the Santya Ras will not have the upper low, you know, higher bhav. But as we progress in our spiritual life, you know, we understand the mood, and we have to obviously read the books which are recommended for us to read, you know, and especially Prabhupada's books first. And then with more understanding, maybe we can go on to other textbooks and, you know, expand our, but we have to totally understand that, you know, without the spiritual master's guidance, it's, you know, for us to start understanding the powers is we have to leave it to Krishna and to our spiritual master, who, you know, would await in the spiritual world, you know, whenever it's our time to go there, you know, as Guru Maharaj used to say, you know, that saying, I forget now, you know, says Govind and Madhav were both standing. Who do I go and pay my obeisances first to? And then obviously, you know, it says, without my Guru Maharaj's mercy, I would not have had the darshan of Madhav. So it's always, you know, waiting for the spiritual master to unravel our relationship with Krishna. And that's the real aim and purpose of this Bhakti Yoga. But these Rupa Manjaris, and they have also come here, and they do come because they have been instructed during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. All these different acharyas, they came, all these Manjaris and the Sakhis, they came. Obviously, you know, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime was a Gupta avatar. It's covered up, you know, so there was a purpose, obviously. But it is to give us, the Kali Yugas, all the jivas in Kali Yugas, the opportunity to actually understand a little bit more about Bhakti, Krishna's spiritual world, that dimension, you know, which would be difficult, but we are fortunate even at this level, you know, you're giving us the glimpse of all the different manjaris and their bhav, and as we most study, they have, a lot of them have actually already come and unveiled some of the pastimes in Vrindavan. So when we go to Vrindavan now, I mean, you spend a lot more time in Vrindavan than you have, and you've been to a lot of places, and that place, all these different deities like Banke Bihari and Radha Govindaji and Radha Madan Mohan, and all those were actually by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know, and the manjaris, all these different manjaris disguised in the form, and they wrote books and wrote descriptions, and, you know, and like my understanding, like one of the gopis, and he was Haridas, and I don't know which manjari or Sakhi he was, or he came as, but he's the one who stayed by the Seva Kunj. We go to Vrindavan and Nidhivan, and that Seva Kunj is a wonderful place to have darshan, but it is a tricky, full of monkeys, and that place, nobody stays in that place at night. And the whole compound is closed, and they're all full of tulsi plants, and we may not understand that when we go there, and all we see is just this dried up land with tulsi, you know, all bowing down like in that form. And if it's really, really crowded, you know, it's hard to have darshan as well. You get pushed around in the crowd, but maybe it's COVID time is different. I don't know what it's like now. But having gone there and having had darshan, you know, that Nidhivan, that was the same place where Haridas would sit there. And in that kunj, you know, he would actually see the Krishna and Radha and the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and then he would be visible to him. And with his mercy, he was able to even give that sort of darshan to the closest of his associates and relatives, you know. And this is all explained, you know, and how he then later on from that same place, the Kunja Banke Bihari deities appeared, manifested, and then as he was worshipping all the time, that's all he did. He did bhajan and worship the deities, but what one of the pastimes was that, from the lotus feet of the Banke Bihari deities, he would get a mudra, like this one particular jewel or something. Anyway, he didn't have any possessions, he didn't have any wealth. So Krishna would look after him, and then with that mudra, he would send his disciple, closest disciple, to go to Mathura and buy the best ingredients, and he would make chapan bhog for the deities. And he would cook amazing food and offer it. But he would not take any of that prasad except the tulsi leaf from there. And the rest of the prasad, chapan bhog, he would feed all the saintly people around, first of all, and then all the sadhus, the acharya disciples, everyone was fed in Vrindavan, the Brajbasis. And then with that chapan bhog, he would feed the monkeys. After the monkeys, he would feed all the peacocks. And then all the peacocks, and then everyone has to be fed properly with that chapan bhog. And it was amazing prasad that he would cook, because it was the best ingredients and best of the recipes. But he would not take anything of it, and he would only live on a tulsi leaf from there. And then he would basically feed on the dried up chanas that the monkeys would not even eat. And he would collect all those from the Braj dust, and he would eat that only, an amazing personality. So that's one of the pastimes, of this, how these Manjaris, came and they manifested this Banke Bihari. Even if you go to the Banke Bihari temple now, the Goswamis will look after, we can have darshan, but it's amazing darshan, you can't stay. They won't even keep the deities darshan open for too long, to stand in front. They keep with curtains or a few second darshan, and then that's it, gone. You're lucky, So yeah, it's amazing. And Vrindavan is still that same place, so many different pastimes there. And Guru Maharaj always used to tell us, you should go to Vrindavan and just understand these different pastimes of Krishna. And actually it's a spiritual realm, but we don't understand. We see a lot of cow dung and we see all these different things and think, what am I doing here? Mosquitoes but it's actually a spiritual realm, so we don't understand it, but it's there, So this Rupa Manjari as well, like you've described there, different bhavs and different how they serve Radharani and and of course in Vrindavan, nobody is just Radharani is most important there. Everybody's going Radhe 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 Radhe. And Varsana, you go there, the pandas, if you can get through them. And then it's a wonderful place, pastimes. And then, but nice to, spend some time like that. But hopefully we get a chance to spend more time there, actually. Yeah. Thank you, Nabi.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Karuna Bandar, would you like to share anything? Any realizations, any pastimes?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay.
I remember when I went to Nidhivan, there was no one practically over there. So while hearing Prabhu Madhusudan, there's the crowd, but we were fortunate enough to have darshan everywhere. So nice.
Yeah. It said the pastimes of the Ras continue through the night. So if anybody is in that place, they would go mad or commit suicide. So there's usually nobody in Seva Kunj in Nidhuvan, middle of the night, at night anyway. And then they have the Mangalati in the morning, and they have a bed, and the things on that bed are all scattered around, and it says Radha and Krishna through, have had their pastimes, loving pastimes. Yeah, Jayanti saying there's a Rastali. That's right. That's right. Quite fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, this
I
Haridas.
believe
Go on.
there's a deity in Vrindavan. It's very near to Banke Bihari Lal, Radha Vallabha.
Vallabh, yes.
Yes, is the deity self-manifested one or
Self-manifested, yes. And
okay?
extraordinary eyes. And also Banka Bihari is self-manifested. As Madhusudan was saying, Prabhu was saying about Haridas, he found Banka Bihari. But Vallabhji also self-manifest. And his eyes are really amazing.
Yes.
I think I've got the photo somewhere. I'll try to see if I can dig it out. Such extraordinary eyes. Extraordinary features.
And not many people visiting over there.
Yes.
Early morning we were going. It's very nice being over there. Not crowded like Banke Bihari.
Yes. Banki Bihari is a little bit too much.
Yes.
A little bit too much. Banki Bihari is, and you feel that it's such it's probably one of the most popular temples in Vrindavan, but
Mm-hmm.
it almost feels like I don't know if I want to say it, but it feels like a bit of a money-making operation, from the
Yeah.
point of view. They got so many people coming, but no sort of literature is given, no preaching is done. It's more
Yeah. We
about
would just have darshan.
Yeah,
darshan.
that is,
Like,
with all those temples in Vrindavan, that is the unfortunate thing,
yeah.
And that's why, for me, whenever I go there, the most important temple and the most important place for me
Mm,
is Prabhupada's Samadhi and the Krishna Balram temple.
correct. Correct.
Because you know
Teaching.
that temple is a manifestation, and it came about after Prabhupada's tapasya.
Yeah.
He went around the world. He actually preached. He sacrificed so much of his time, effort. He trained so many disciples, and then that temple came about. Somebody asked me last time I was there in Vrindavan. My cousin said, "Oh, that's that other temple nearby, which is so big, and I don't know what it's called, but I don't even want to go and see it."
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's called Prem Mandir.
Yeah.
Lights.
Because you see that and you think, well, whoever made that temple and all that, and then they never even stepped out of Vrindavan. They never even stepped out of Bharat. They never made the effort to preach and bring any understanding. But Krishna Balram is amazing, no matter what, because that is Prabhupada's. That's the result of Prabhupada's tapasya and his mercy. Without his mercy, and Prabhupada has left everything there. So that is really the place. But other temples are there, yeah, Banka Bihari, Radha Madhav. I mean, Radha Damodar temple is wonderful because you go there because Prabhupada stayed there, his room is there. And you can see that, when you go there, you can feel that Prabhupada has been here. So you feel his presence. And then there is the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami there, and Sanatan Goswami, and all these different samadhis. They're renovating a little bit last time I went, but they've had these properties, all these Goswamis, and all they're doing is just fighting in courts for the property and all this and that, and just hoard the place, and it's not even open to public, and the funds that come, they don't do any preaching. You go there, then there's no explanation. Nobody even tries to explain anything. You just read about it a bit, like this. You understand more. But Prabhupada is given far more. That is how I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, you get the connection when you're in Krishna Balaram temple. Definitely get a good connection, And Prabhupada,
yeah.
like we were talking, he took sannyas, and of course, sannyas in this age is not recommended, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would give to inspire, to increase the preaching. And Prabhupada, in the same mood, took the sannyas to preach, and he left the country, came to the West, and he did so much. And then he gave sannyas also to enhance the preaching. And he knew that sannyas should not really be given, but he still did it to increase the preaching of the Hare Krishna movement throughout the world. And
Well, he was taking a chance. He knew, he said, I'm, taking a bit of a chance here, giving these people, sannyas, and then a lot of them couldn't maintain that sannyas order, but that was a risk Prabhupada had to take, especially when they're not Bharatiya or staunch and strict in understanding the Sanatana Dharma principles. But yet they've done very well, a lot of them,
that's right. There's
they supported Prabhupada in no matter way, and that they will be, Prabhupada will definitely be waiting for them, wonderful.
And Guru Maharaj was very, when he was asked about sannyas, he said, sannyas should not, of course he took sannyas, but his circumstances were a little different because there's no way he could have got out of, the family without doing that. And then, of course, his preaching activities really took off. And we are where we are because of him, So, but generally he did not recommend sannyas. As Vyasa says, probably prohibited in Kali Yuga. And nowadays also you feel that maybe there's a few people who want to take sannyas. Is it because of preaching you want to do this? But you can preach, you don't have to be a sannyasi to preach nowadays.
No.
To get the respect, people will bow down to me, I'll get nice prasad, mangal sweets, and I'll get nice Raj Bhog. And if that's the motivation, then that's not necessarily the right mood of taking the sannyas. Better stay in your ashram and just do as much as you can,
Yeah, better to do your duty in the, according to your personality and, and rather. But also somebody posted something on the Krishna's group, a little short thing about Prabhupada saying, writing a letter or something to somebody who was in the Grihastha ashram, and he said, even though you are in the Grihastha ashram, your family and all that, but and you are practicing Krishna consciousness, that in itself is like sannyas, you're at least not attached strongly, so it is with the bhav, and Grihastha ashram, there are a lot of gurus, I know in Pusti Marg, they don't actually recommend sannyas that much, but a lot of the gurus are just Grihastha ashram,
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's nothing before.
Because I know before I came across Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and even heard anything about Krishna consciousness and all that. In Coventry, there was some guru came from Pustima. I was so young, I could not even understand. But they would give this Brahmasaman.
Right.
And they put a kanti around your neck and they give you a Krishna's mantra. And that's like Pustima. And I did take that initiation without understanding a lot, and I didn't understand much. I still don't know what the name of that guru was or whatever. He never insisted anything. He never wanted anything from me. I don't know. Maybe it's Krishna's blessing to guide me and take me on the path. And, you get the mantra of Krishna again, it's Shri Krishna Sharanamam. That means you surrender to Krishna. And Brahmasaman means you are linked up to the Brahman means the spiritual realization. So spirit, you're made to declare, like the Guru declares that you're not a body, you're a spirit soul. And you're a Brahman, realizes Brahman. But that's not perfect. But then further on, I didn't understand, it's only Prabhupada and Prabhupada's books, and that gave me more understanding. And now at this stage, we are, even from learning from you, Prabhuji, about Rupa Manjari and this pastime. So thank you for these moments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inspiring, and your good wishes and blessings are very important.
No, I'm just supporting and do what I can, and
Very important. Nice. Very
Guru Maharaj was there, and I do what I can. I'm still working at it.
We all are.
No perfect devotee. It's just struggle. But anyway, we are fortunate.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. So, anybody, anything else to share or ask? If not, we can go to the Nishinga Kavach. Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees.
Thank you.